At my presentation, the M&M Deep Learning Aided Multi-Facet Mental Health Support Tool for College Students. And my name is Wanzhao Yang. So I will start with the background, and then I will introduce the system design and also the deep learning-based chatbot and the initial prototype and the chatbot evaluation and future work. So nowadays, more and more mental health issues are rising among US college students. So as you can see in this picture, which is a recent report, about 80% students feel overwhelmed by their responsibility as a student. However, there are 40% of them feel the stigma or lack of culturally sensitive services and different conceptions of mental health. So in order to deal with this problem, we have a lot of mental health platforms. So one is online support forum, such as Reddit. So the students or users can post anything they want to the Reddit, and they have the other users to give the response. However, this kind of forum cannot provide professional treatment to help the user deal with their mental health issues. So we also have mental health application on smartphone. Well, the application on smartphone can help you to track your everyday feeling and to help you to develop a healthier lifestyle. And also we have the next new generation of mental health platforms, which are AI-powered chatbots. For example, we have the Visa, we have Waybot, but however, most of the tips provided by these platforms can only deal with the emotional aspect of the mental health issues. They cannot deal with the situation that cause such anxieties. And also, the AI-powered chatbots such as Waybot, they cannot properly deal with long sentences. So as you can see at the right hand, there is an example. This is an example that I use Waybot. So I type a very long sentence about a feeling, about why I feel that, and the chatbot just responds, I don't always understand everything you say. So that's why we have our M&M. And I have a list for the planned features. So we have support for academic, for relationship, for emotion, and the finance and career support. So this, as you can see, this is the architecture of our application. So basically, it has two parts: study QA part and M&M part. So first, the user or the student can communicate with our Android application. It first talk with our M&M. It is a deep learning based model. And then once our application found that the user has some academic performance issues, it will invoke another part of our application, which is study QA. Well, study QA basically it receives questions from the user, from the students, and it will utilize the natural language understanding tool, which is with AI, to extract keywords from this question. And this question is about a specific course, like the advanced algorithm or the software development, and then the study QA will use these keywords to retrieve the correct answer from our predefined knowledge database. So if it can find the answer that matches this question, so it will send it back to the student. If not, it will store the unsolved question to another database. And we have our own teaching assistant or the instructors to help with answer these questions and then add them to the knowledge base. So basically, study QA is a retrieval-based model. So next, I will introduce how exactly our study QA utilize the Wait AI. So Wait AI is an entity recognition tool. So here we predefined three entities, problem, topic, error, to recognize the keywords in the student's question. So at the upper side, the picture is an example from the student. So the question is, the pop-up window shows invalid return URL and failed to connect channel to Bitbucket. So this is the question from the software development course. And then the VIT AI can detect that there are four keywords. So error is the invalid return URL, and the problem is connect, and it has two topics, Trello and Bitbucket. So we will use the combination of these four keywords to retrieve the correct answer in our database. And here is details about how we define these three entities. Another part of our application is deep learning-based chatbot. So essentially, the deep learning model for chatbot is like a language model. So given a sequence of words or sentences, it will compute the probability distribution of the next word or the next sentence. So just like this example here, the students opened so the next word could be books or laptops. So the model will compute the probability and choose the word that has the highest probability. So we choose VHID as the component of our deep learning-based chatbot. Well, VHID is encoder-decoder architecture, and the difference between VHID and other such architecture is that VHID has ZN, which is a high-dimensional stochastic latent variable for each utterance. And besides that, at the decoder side, VHID model has a two-step generation process. It will first sample the latent variable and then generate the output sequence. So here is the example to show the performance of VHID. So the conversation is, I think I want an iPad too, but I already have an iBook, so it's want versus need. And next response is, if you have an iBook, then you deserve an iPad. So as you can see, the response from VHID is, that is what I'm thinking, I'm going to buy a new one. So which is better compared with LSTM, I want one, or HID, I don't know what to do with it, I don't know what to do. So that's that's why we have our own hybrid VHID. So the motivation about hybrid VHID is we find that the mental health counseling dataset has both daily dialogue characteristic and also the narrative characteristic. So I will use an example to explain what these two characteristics mean. So the conversation begins with, how are you feeling today? And I feel bad. Can you tell me a little bit about what is going on? So these sentences are about daily dialogue that may happen every day. So it has daily dialogue characteristic. And the next, the user responds like, I really don't know what to do. And it's more like a story. It talks about how that user feels and what he want to do and why he feel that. So such long sentence shows that it has a narrative characteristic. So based on this, we have our proposed hybrid VHID model. So we use two VHID encoder to encode daily dialogue characteristic and narrative characteristic respectively. And then we have a hybrid VHID decoder. And then we jointly train this model. So this is some screenshots of our application. So as you can see, we have MM and static QA part. So for now, the MM part is based on a retrieval model, and we are working on integrate it with our deep learning model. And the static QA part, as you can see, you can choose the generatives, which will give you advice about how to take better notes or how to cope with the test anxiety. And also you can choose the specific course tips. And so the example here shows I type some question about the CSE 216 software engineering, and it will and the user will get a response from our application. So next, I will introduce more about our deep learning model. So we use 3 different data sets. Daily dialogue dataset, which is an open domain dataset, and with more daily dialogue characteristic. And also we have Reddit casual dataset. It has more narrative characteristic. And we have our own depression dataset. Well, the posts of this dataset are extracted from the Reddit depression subgroup. And we have a volunteer with counseling training to manually give responses to those posts. For evaluation, we trained 3 models. So VHID1 and VHID2 are just single VHID model. So VHID1 are pre-trained on daily dialogue datasets and fine-tuned on depression. And VHID2 is pre-trained on Reddit casual and then fine-tuned on depression. And the third model is our hybrid VHID. Like I said, it has 2 VHID components are pre-trained on daily dialogue and Reddit casual respectively. And then we jointly fine-tune the hybrid VHID model on depression dataset. So we choose blue 1, 2, 3, 4 as the metrics. Well, this metric is common for NLP tasks, and it computes a similarity score based on n-gram precision. And the higher value indicates the increased similarity between the generated response and the target response. So this table shows the results of our experiment. We tested these 3 models on 3 different data sets, and the daily dialogue, Reddit casual, and depression. And as you can see at the 3rd row, we have the hybrid VHID model. It outperforms the VHID1 and VHID in terms of the blue 1, 2, 4. So about the future work, we intend to add more courses to for the academic tutoring, especially the courses from computer science and mathematics, because those courses are typically students struggle with. And we will also implement the financial and career support. And besides that, because the mental health data sets are small, and so we want to use some techniques such as few-shot learning to make the model learn more information from small mental health datasets. And we also consider the conversation consistency for longer conversations, because in the future, we want the chatbot to learn more from the from multi-term conversations datasets, so that the response generated by the chatbot can be coherent and consistent with respect to the history context. Okay, that's all about my presentation. Thank you.